Not only is the mayor of Otter Creek, Russell Meeks Sr., stealing from all of the residents, he's put every single resident's life on the line. And they all could have had fresh water, except he prevented it from happening. And I'm about to show you how.
We need money. How much are we gonna get?
So, you requested a 2-inch meter. Your plumber called me personally.
Yesterday, we dropped a huge bombshell on everybody. We shared that Charlene is actually Russell Meeks' daughter. Remember her?
My concerns are, and I think most of them have already been addressed, about the town looking like a ghetto and the town council not doing anything to fix this, nor is anyone ever going to want to move here to improve our town or make it where there's more people to compensate or justify this water issue. If that's the complaint with Chiefland, is only the 92 residents here in Otter Creek. No one's going to want to move here.
That was only one person.
Okay, well, one person's whatever. Second, I don't think the water, I'd like to know how much more time and money is going to be spent on this Chiefland deal, because I don't think it's going to happen.
Many of people have asked, is she still here in town? She'd be a great asset and a great help for you, Jeremy. You mean Charlene Meeks, daughter of the mayor of Otter Creek, Russell Meeks Sr.? Plot twist! The one woman who said, what are we gonna do to grow this town, to clean up this town? And then her father takes over and makes it decline even further. If you've been following What the Hales and the Otter Creek saga, you know that in the past, 10 years ago, Otter Creek had an opportunity to actually get fresh, clean water from Chiefland. And yet here we are 10 years later, and Charlene asked about it 10 years ago, and nothing ever happened. Well, today you're gonna find out why it didn't happen. And the easy answer up front, Russ the Sus. Now they're all talking about fresh water coming from Bronson going to Cedar Key. I got a feeling the exact same person that stopped it coming from Chiefland is going to be the exact same person that's going to stop it coming from Bronson. We've got a Chiefland Fire Department coming in, representative, sharing everything in regards to what our safety needs are here in Otter Creek, and then specifically talks about why we never got the water. You cannot make this stuff up, and there's more plot twists to come.
On public safety, I see we got the firefighters to keep them here. I'm gonna let y'all say your piece. Okay? Unfortunately, because of everything that we do has gone sky high. There ain't one thing in our budget that ain't gone up.
All right, I know what you're thinking. A 3-year-old, a toddler could have done a better job filming this. I agree. No doubt about it. A toddler could have done. And you know, a toddler swiping their parent's phone and running down through the house, through the hall, would have been better footage than this. But pay attention to it because it's extremely, extremely important. It's packed with information that is pertinent to the lives of people.
I started with y'all in 2011, I think. And if you go back through your books, that number has been the same. Never have went up in 10 years or better.
So here's what's happening. Firefighters coming in just gave out handouts to everybody with prices, okay? Emphasizes, hey, I've been with you since 2011. And the town pays for fire protection for the people. Our real estate taxes pay for that, right? Or maybe it's income taxes, or maybe it's, you know, it's a portion of a few things here and there. Lord knows it ain't the water because they're going broke on that. And so what he's saying is, in essence, in 10 years, this bill hasn't changed. Can you think of anything that hasn't changed in regards to a bill in 10 years? I mean, gas goes up, your apartment lease goes up, mortgages go up, and pretty much everything in life goes up. It's very, very rare for it to come down. And this firefighter is saying for 10 years, you've had the same flat fee for fire protection in Otter Creek. Now remember, George, when you and I actually moved here, we were just minds blown. 2 huge fires. Not only that, today, one town over in Rosewood, today there's a fire out of control. They evacuated everybody. Today, right now, as George and I are recording this, there is a fire out of control. The entire town has been evacuated.
Unfortunately, we can't keep doing it for what we're doing it for. Diesel fuel, just that. Those trucks burn a lot of diesel. Call load is going up, not just all, everybody's. Everybody's calling 911 for things they don't need to do.
He must know Mary packages are scary. She calls 911 even when I come in to pay my bills. Hi, gentlemen. I'm trying to pay my bill. City clerk won't break down the bill instruction for me. So I'm continuing to try and pay my water bill. Okay. This is the 3rd time I've been in Otter Creek in a row where the sheriff has been called, which is a complete and total misuse of county funds, in my opinion.
Did y'all call? Who called?
It's a fourth party. It's a fourth party call.
They deduct the late fees, and that would
Why don't you submit your grievance in writing instead of doing?
Nobody put hands on anybody else?
Nope.
Nope.
Nobody touched anybody.
All right, we're out. We'll see y'all.
Hey, thanks.
You're welcome.
Probably see you again Tuesday.
Not a problem.
Thanks a bunch. Okay. Would you guys please stop wasting county funds with this?
Calling for them, that they can handle themselves. And it's really taxing the public safety services. The city of Chiefland had to start a fire assessment. And that's what the city of Chiefland is charging their residents, what you have there. And ad valorem, out of our ad valorem general fund, is still having to put over $200,000 in there on top of that. It got so bad a couple of months ago that we got permission to hire 3 new firefighters, so we would have 2 on shift there all the time. The reason why that is we have a call in the county here or where else. There's nobody left there when we had 1 guy. And it's very dangerous for 1 guy to go on a call. It's just that simple. A lot of things can go wrong.
So you see what's happening here is basically is what he's saying is we can't keep operating when we're broke. That's what he's saying. Now you see how Otter Creek keeps operating somehow when they're broke with water. You can't live that way. And he's literally saying things were so bad. Think of it as this. I've got one business over here, which I have multiple businesses. This business isn't paying for itself, or it's not generating enough income for itself. So I have to go over here to my other business and take the money from this business to pay the bills for this business. That's not okay. And that's what the situation is with the Chiefland Fire Department. Things were getting so bad because they weren't charging enough and they weren't generating enough income that number one, there wasn't enough money, and number two, there wasn't enough people. And when they did have people, they had 1 firefighter on staff. You can't go fight a fire solo. That's not smart. That's begging to knock on death's door.
We couldn't get nobody. This is unheard of in the city of Chiefland to get a raise for firefighters in the middle of the year, in the middle of the budget. We tried that. They agreed, and we done that. It's still empty. No firefighters apply. They're all going where the big money is. And this ain't where the big money is.
So the firefighters are actually experiencing the same thing that we've experienced in Florida. Like getting people to work, a foreign concept, really. And they've tried every incentive. Like they're trying to up the money, up the ante. Think of it as this way. They're giving incentives. If you work for What the Hales, I offer housing. George gets housing. Christian and Patience gets housing. I offer housing. It's an incentive. Hey, come work for What the Hales. I'll give you a house to live in. And they're giving every incentive they can, but the firefighters aren't coming because the firefighters put their life on their line every day. And why in the world would you want to come to a place, put your life on the line for, let's just say, $40,000 when I can go to a bigger town and put my life on the line for $80,000? The best deal is not always the cheapest deal. I want the best in the business when they're out there to save my life and my family's life.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what y'all want to do. I'm just here to tell you what's going on. If you have any suggestions, I'd like to hear them. And maybe we can work something out. Because I don't have a problem coming down here except for the cost of it. And that's what's killing us. And when you're paying people to come, and their retirement goes up, insurance goes up, pay goes up, that adds up real quick. So, I'm basically here to just hopefully get y'all to think about it, think about what you would like to do. I give you that because that's what our citizens are paid. That would be a good start.
You hear what he's saying, right? I'm going to give you the same rate of a town that's 15 minutes away, and that'd be a good start. Now, let's try and wrap our heads around this. How did Otter Creek, which used to be a thriving, not just surviving, thriving community that had their own fire engine, had their own volunteer fire department, had their own building for a fire department, and all of a sudden it's dead? Oh, I don't know. Here's how it happens. You don't incentivize businesses for coming in, which, by the way, generates income for the town, which allows the town to do things such as pay for fire protection. You don't increase families coming in, which is also income tax and real estate tax, which also saves people. And it gives them clean water because you're generating income to be able to generate clean water. You push out all the business, you push out all the families, and you encourage garbage everywhere, and you encourage drugs everywhere, and you turn your head to it, and you don't think about it, and you turn your blind eye, and you do nothing about it. That's how you get to this point. But Chiefland Fire Department said, listen, we'll charge you the same rate that our people in Chiefland are paying, even though you're 15 to 20 minutes further away.
But you can't call it a fire assessment because you haven't had a study done. That would cost you $25,000 to do that study to find out that.
You know what Mary's thinking, right?
We need money. How much are we gonna get?
And it's just a waste of money, to be honest with you. So, and that is collected by the tax collector. But I think y'all have to collect that yourself. And I don't know if you can call it a fire assessment. You're gonna have to go to your attorney and see what he says. So.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, sir.
Okay. What is it you are asking us?
Well, I'm asking you, what can you do? What can we do here?
Well, on this, it's, all I'm seeing is the full amount of $196,265 of the dwelling, $129 per unit.
Mhm.
And that's what,
That's a residential unit.
that's what,
Residential.
yeah.
Can someone please explain to me how anybody serving on this council can have no idea what's being asked or what's being said or what's being shared? Let me share this with you. This is what happens when you go to a town council and you go, I vote to pay the bills. Do we hear a motion? Can we get a second? Can we pay the bills? And nobody sees the bills. There's no accountability. There's no financial stewardship. There's no seriousness in their positions. None of them, and I mean this wholeheartedly, none of them have the skills to serve. This town should not even be incorporated. It should be engulfed by the county. These individuals should be gone.
And so that's,
There's a cost for vacant and there's a cost for commercial there.
right. I see all that. So what, is this not taken up in our, taxes that we pay and all? No. So where is this paid?
That is Chiefland's fire assessment.
Okay,
No, we decided on an amount. Let's go.
I mean, where, how did this come about is that if you go out and put out a fire on somebody's home, you charge them $129.
Oh, my head hurts. Has anybody ever been charged by a firefighter to put out a fire? And the answer is no. Nobody has. How can he not understand this is taken from your taxes? These individuals are out here in Florida and they get taxed for everything. For example, they go to the dump. It's free to go to the dump. You can take a truckload every day, but it's not really free. I love going to the dump here. I love taking a dump here. But it's not free. It costs money, and they lump sum it in your taxes just like all of your other government services. It's not free. It never will be. And yet these people in Florida, these people in Otter Creek think that everything should be free to them. You want clean water? You can have clean water. You have to pay for it. You want money in your account? Yeah, you can have money in your account. You have to work. You want the town to actually be cleaned up? You have to do it and stop playing victim that I'm a victim to this person. I'm a victim to this person. They didn't help me. It's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility. How can people not get this through their head?
Okay. When I first come, the county gives every fire department the amount of money to provide fire services. Every city got some of that money to provide fire services in an unincorporated area.
Right.
Y'all got something like $30-something thousand. The council back then decided that they would pay us that money to provide services to y'all, because we were already coming to provide services to the county around, and still are. That come from there, that $30,000.
Simple fiscal stewardship, money management. What used to happen is the county would give Otter Creek 30 grand and say, hey, use this to pay for your fire. But yet you've got individuals in there that don't know how to manage money, don't even know how to count. 3 + 3 is 7. Who knows what else is going on in there? And we will know. I want to be very, very clear. None of this is stopping. I will be here every single month, multiple times a month here in Otter Creek, more than I've ever been any other summer before. This will not let up. We will figure out every single dollar, every single path, every single thing that has happened that we possibly can. So what did the county do? They got smart. They're going, why in the world would we get $30,000 to the town for them to give it to the fire department when we should just give it to the fire department? Good money management, and it makes sure that no embezzlement can happen by, Mary Martha Scary, who's in a position, who's handling these funds, and in the bank requesting illegally to look into different accounts, or Russ the Sus, who just throws bills at people and says, can we have a motion? And doesn't actually tell them what they're paying. Nobody sees the income. Nobody sees the expenses. Nobody sees a P&L. Smartest thing the county ever did was get that money out of their hands.
That, what town of Otter Creek used to pay you, or still doesn't?
Well, I'm not sure how much it is right now. I couldn't tell you, because it hasn't gone up. Can you tell them per year?
$78.92 per month is what we pay Chief and Fire Rescue.
That's what I thought I saw somewhere in there, yeah.
How much? We could.
$478.92.
Okay. What's that per year? I think we had
Not
that.
much.
6,000.
So I made it quite a bit less. And the reason why that was because the county took it away from me. County no longer would pay you that because you were giving it to us. So that's how we come up with something that your town council could afford back then.
So you see what he's saying. The county gave them the money directly, but still their expenses were so high, and expenses continue to go up. I mean, look at inflation today in our world. And so he gave a flat rate to the town of Otter Creek. Some of you might be thinking, oh, well, wait, if they gave the money to Otter Creek and then Otter Creek gave them to them, then he's double dipping. No, he's not double dipping. The rates went up. Just because the county gave the money to him, Otter Creek still owes. And he was only charging Otter Creek roughly just a little bit over $5,700 for the year. That's crazy cheap for keeping your life.
We don't know what to do.
So can I ask
We're in a
a,
situation ourselves.
can I ask a question, maybe it'll help everybody kind of understand? How long would it take for this structure to be damaged by fire to the point where it's a total loss and needs to be rebuilt? Approximately.
Concrete,
Under these conditions?
30 minutes maybe, to be total loss, is that what you're asking?
Yes. What's your response time to this fire?
12 minutes,
You can get here in 12 minutes
yes, sir.
and,
Done it several times,
and have water on the house.
yes, sir.
Why was that one up in the front totally engulfed before it got put out?
It depends on when it's reported as an alarm. The fire has a time enough to get a jump before someone actually calls and reports it. And that's what we fight against with that.
Time is of the essence.
So at the time of night, it is until someone actually noticed it, called dispatch,
Okay.
and then you have
There's a
to call.
lag time there.
Yeah, there's a lot of lag time in
I
it.
want to know, is it even worth? Like, if it takes him a half an hour to get here, well, why even have it? But if he's getting here in 12 to 15 minutes,
Well, we're not only doing fires for you too.
I understand, yeah.
If someone's sick and it's in your area, we come down here
Oh, you're
too.
talking about EMS?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, not too long ago, there was chief and fire responded to a sick person down the road from us with
And
EMS.
many a time, right out there in the middle of 24 and 19,
Oh, yeah.
there's been wrecks.
12 minutes response time. Keep this in mind. 12 minutes response time. This is huge, okay? These are the professionals, 2 firefighters around the clock. They're ready. They got the gear. They got the truck. They get the call, and once they get the call, they're here in Otter Creek in 12 minutes. That's a huge difference compared to what does happen now.
Down here for cardiac arrest several times.
Yeah.
Is it good for 12 minutes? No, it's not. And if you're in cardiac arrest, I don't think we can
You're
do
not
you
gonna
any
make
good in 12 minutes.
But we've been down here for many respiratory distress. Almost half our extrications is that intersection alone. So you have a higher
Now,
proportional.
the town of Otter Creek is responsible for those accidents. Those are,
It's in your town area is what they say.
okay.
You like that big check behind him for $1.4 million for internet for those people here in Otter Creek? All 100 of us. Let me see, George. If we divide 1.4 million between 100 people, boy, that's more than most of these people make in a given year. I might even get paid for once.
Wait,
Also, too, we also come down and land a helicopter
yeah, how
for
does that work?
EMS.
Yeah.
And the person that they're maybe flying out may be from Cedar Key.
True.
They may be from English. You know, it's not just your citizens that are getting that benefit.
So when they touch down here, do they get a bill?
Who?
Otter Creek?
No. You don't get, the only bill you get from us or anybody else for fire and EMS services is you pay an EMS assessment to the county.
Assessment is just another word in its simplest form for taxes. It's a little bit different, but it's another form of taxes. And the whole helicopter, well, let's go back to the taxes. Listen, you don't receive any of these services for free. You don't get anything for free. Somebody's paying for something. If you get a welfare check from the government, somebody's paying for it. Probably me, and probably George, and probably some other people that you love. Nothing happens for free. Now, the helicopter that lands, we all know now that the helicopter lands here at the old schoolhouse building that George and I own. And we've talked to the EMS professionals and we shared with them, hey, we'd love to put in a helipad for you. We'd love to put a concrete pad. We'll make it safe with lights, the whole thing. They've shared with us, hey, we've got 36 acres just south of the flashing light in Otter Creek. We're actually going to build a helipad there. And so that they're on their own property versus private property. Because we were just in Cedar Key and we were like, hold a second, they're landing here in Otter Creek to get somebody in Cedar Key. There's an airport in Cedar Key. Why aren't they landing at the airport? They don't. There's another airport over near Rosewood. they don't. They land on a piece of property and then they get the individual there. So they're going to have their own helipad, and they asked Jeremy, can we continue to land for 3 to 6 months? Absolutely. You can land indefinitely. We will build you a helipad. But they said, no, that's not the long-term goal. We have to be on our own property.
You don't pay fire assessment to the county.
That's the reason they give everybody this paper that, this is our services tax.
That's for chief.
Chiefland just started collecting it. Does Williston collect it?
I don't think they do, sir.
I don't think Bronson does either.
English collects it.
There ain't many cities in the county that do it. And probably have a hard time getting these folks at Otter Creek.
Actually, I'd like to rub
This is mostly low income, and we really don't have a whole lot more money than we now
I understand that.
did then.
The words of your mayor, Otter Creek. Gonna be a hard time getting these citizens to do that. What? To save their spouse's life? To save their child's life? To save any of the residents' life? These people are mostly low income. No, I think you're pretty much low IQ there, Russ the Sus. I think anybody, when they lose somebody that's special and important to them, they would have paid every last single penny they had to have that person back with them. Like you, I both would, right? You and I, we would do that. We'd pay any price to have that person with them. And you think the people in Otter Creek would pay the same price to have that special person with them? Of course they would. But you know what? I don't know. These people is mostly low income. Mostly low income. Then what do they have to live for? Other people. We need to pay any price to save our people.
Can you do this for us? Put us something on paper. Show us the calls that you made last year.
Sure.
Give us some idea of how much that costs. Give us some idea of how much you need.
Okay, well, let me explain to you about cost.
Are you watching the same thing I am? Put it on a piece of paper and let us know the cost. He literally handed it to you and every other council member. He gave it to you. Put it in your hand before he even started speaking. Are you that ridiculously, utterly out of your mind, Russell?
You're probably saying how many times did we come down here and how much did it cost you, right?
I know it's gonna be a lot different this year than it was last
No,
year.
that's what you're asking me, then, right? Unfortunately, that's not how you figure how much it costs. How you figure how much it costs is the fire department is paid by ready to serve. You understand what I'm saying? You're on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year to be here when an emergency happens. That's how you do that. And I understand everything you're saying, but I gotta go in front of our commissioner too, and they gotta approve it. I'm just down here trying to get it started to where we can get some conversation going on it, where we can try to figure out how to work it out. That's it.
Well, let us chew on it a little
That's
bit.
what I want you to do. And
I
I'll send you that
I
information.
would still like to see how many calls you made.
Let us chew on it. Really, let us chew on it. By the way, while your mayor has been chewing on it, your family member could have died. I hope you understand the gravity of this. I hope you understand the depth of this, the seriousness of this. You are allowing a corrupt, you are allowing an incompetent fool make decisions, life and death decisions for you in your town, Otter Creek.
Okay.
How many times do you come to work then?
We'll sure get you that if that's what you need.
And, we got an email. You can email it right to us. And Larry can email it to everybody.
Look at that. The town of Otter Creek got an email. I didn't even think they used it. I mean, I've only been requesting records from the town hall for over 3 years. You think they're in a heap of trouble? The answer is Hale's yes.
I'll send you that tomorrow.
How many years back you wanna go?
Say last year, and what you've done so far this year. This year's half gone. I mean, does anybody know? I've seen,
I can tell you
I
how many
haven't
a quarter
actually
real easy. I can tell you how many per quarter,
Mhm.
because we send every quarter we send a, report to the county so that they can pay us. And all of that's listed on that report. I can send you the whole reports, I can send you the quarter report, I can just take yours out. If you want just yours, that's easy to do. I'm just trying to get this started. I'm trying not to come in here and throw something on y'all that you don't have time to plan, because as far as I know, our agreement still goes to October.
I guess the real
It has
question
been-
is, can you afford not to have? And what's that cost?
Well,
It's a fair question.
before us, Bronson was coming for y'all. But they are an all-volunteer department, so it takes them longer. That's why
Yeah.
y'all called us, because we were starting to get into, paid firefighters.
Gotcha.
We got people at the fire station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's what I'm saying, readiness to serve. It costs money every minute whether you go or not.
It's like your military, you
Yeah.
pay them regardless.
Same thing.
So these are the options for Otter Creek: ready to serve or volunteer. Ready to serve or volunteer. Ready to serve means when that bell goes off, dispatch dispatches them, they're out of bed, they're out, they're in their gear, they're in the truck, they're there in Otter Creek. And volunteer means volunteer from Bronson, which is further away. Volunteer means dispatch calls volunteers. They're at home, they're eating dinner. They have to go get all their gear. They got to go get the truck, and then they have to respond. Guys, this is insanity. Ready to serve is the difference. Volunteer, ready to serve. Distance is the issue in Otter Creek. We don't have a volunteer fire department anymore to be right there. So it's distance. Ready to serve can actually get here in time to save a structure, to save your home, to save a family member, literally to save a life. The difference is this: ready to serve can save a life. Volunteer is going to take twice as much, if not longer, to actually respond, which means that life is gone. Your mayor is putting lives on the line, because guess which? Why should I even have to tell you this? Why don't you go ask your mayor?
Are you talking about
That, yes, sir.
$130 a year
For a house.
for everybody in Otter Creek?
$130 a month times 12. That would be $1,560. That's what we're putting the price of a life on. Now, if I compare that with a funeral, average funeral, low average funeral nowadays, $10,000. When I compare the price, $1,560 a year versus $10,000 for the life, and the ultimate having to live without that person, seems like a pretty good deal. And even that being said, Russell's still like, well, our people, they're poor. They're not going to have for that to pay in taxes. They won't do that. Really? You don't think they're going to go ahead and, I mean, what are some of the things we can skip in our life so that we can have people in our life? How about drugs? Let's get rid of drugs. Stop spending money on drugs. And let's spend our money on actual emergency services to take care of people.
Now, were you around when they done with the deal about running the water line down here?
Now listen up, because the fire chief is about to get into the Chiefland water issue. Remember Charlene Meeks? What's going on with this whole deal with water in Chiefland? I don't think it's ever going to happen. Well, we're going to find out right now why it didn't.
This is one that really dropped it is the amount that you wanted to pay was 20% lower than the city residents was paying.
I don't remember none of that. I just.
That's on record if you want to check it.
The chief was turning us down.
That's why. They wouldn't sign as a co-signer for you on the grant to pay for it if y'all didn't pay for it. And they wouldn't let you do it because the price that was given to them, I was there, I was in the meeting, I remember what happened, but I don't remember going back and forth where it come up with that amount, but it was 20% lower than the citizens of Chiefland paid.
And there it is, citizens of Otter Creek, your mayor, Russell Meeks, destroyed the opportunity for you to have clean water because he went on your behalf to Chiefland and said, our people will only pay 20% the amount for water that your own local residents are. Oh, by the way, you got to pipe all your water over to here to us in Otter Creek. This is insanity. Why would you vote this person in? You're not going to get free water. Remember, Mary told me nobody in Florida gets free water unless you have a well, which we have multiples, but we still have tied into the water. Your mayor destroyed the opportunity for you to have water from Chiefland. His own daughter was going, what's going on with the opportunity from Chiefland? And here he is squirreling in front of somebody because somebody's always going to his face and going, it's on record. That's why we have to film everything, because he's a pathological liar and he destroyed an opportunity for all the residents to have the water that they so desperately need.
We're gonna look at this as the same way, is because how can we charge less for somebody that's not in the city of Chiefland than we're charging our citizens? That's the common sense behind it.
Common sense, not so common in the town of Otter Creek, on the council, or with our mayor, or with our clerk. You ain't gonna find too much common sense here. People of Otter Creek, remove these people, would you please, for your own lives?